What's going on, traders, and welcome back to another video. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name's Alex and I'm an FX trader as well as a trading/mindset coach for ASFX. On this channel, we talk about all things trading, and I also offer advice on certain topics to new and struggling traders based off my personal experience. My goal here is to help inspire traders all over the world and hopefully help put them on the path to becoming a consistently profitable trader. Now, before we get started in today's video, if you're not already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as turn on post notifications so you don't miss any future uploads. Also, make sure to stick around until the end of the video because I feel like you guys will definitely benefit from hearing about the mistakes I made and learn from them, which will then lead you to saving and making money in the long run. Now, with all that being said, let's roll the intro and get right into the video. Alright guys, so pretty much I'm making this video to hold myself accountable to my mistakes this past trading week, as well as hopefully inspire you guys to not make the same mistakes as I did. So here's a little background. This past week, I was looking to trade the Euro-Yen short. Now I did my analysis on the pair and came to the conclusion that the pair could definitely come lower that day. I ended up getting a confirmation to go short and I entered into the trade. Now this is where things got a little dicey for me. In short, I ended up not following my rules and it ended up costing me money. So now that you guys have a bit of background, let's dive into the chart so I can show you guys exactly what went down. Alright you guys, so this is the Euro-Yen trade that I am talking about, in which I made a few mistakes in. Now just a little bit of a background. As you could see, I was looking to short this pair because I saw divergence at the very top through the changeover of day. You can see that price action was making higher highs while the RSI was making lower lows. Now what pretty much told me that we were going to come a little bit shorter this day was the fact that since the high set from last night, we ended up forming a lower high and another lower high here. And when I actually got into the charts, I noticed that price was already under that 50 EMA region. And we know that the 50 EMA is a change of bias EMA, which means that if we break it to the upside or the downside, it can usually be used as confluence to change in bias. So I was looking to short this pair and I actually ended up getting short right here around 315-ish. I can't remember the exact candle, but I did get short right here. And I started, monitoring the trade. So then I plotted down to the 1 minute to monitor, because that's usually how I monitor my trades. I have the 1 minute and the 15-minute side by side. And from entry, the first thing I started noticing was that we started building this bullish divergence right off the rip from my entry. So you can see that price action was making lower lows, but our RSI was making higher lows, which is divergent. So I was monitoring this until price finally ended up breaking the 200 and pulled the liquid 50 up into the buy zone. And in my head, I thought, okay, you know what? Overall, EJ is long bias. So maybe this might be the D1 signal to start, coming back into trend. So I did actually end up closing my position right here, right as this price broke the 200 EMA with a nice, decent, strong bar. And that was mistake number one. I don't think that I should have ever closed this trade here, even though I got this exit signal, because if I get into a trade, I have to kind of understand that I'm already committed to that trade and I should be satisfied with either taking a stop loss, a break even, or a take profit, never cutting the trade short. Because as you could see, even though price ended up breaking the 200 EMA, it fell right back under. So that was mistake number one. I should have let the trade run and do its thing, trusted my stop loss, and if it was going to stop me out, it was going to stop me out. If not, then it would go in my favor, which it started going in my favor here. Now, I did enter again, and this was mistake number two. I guess you could say this was mistake number two, because as you can see, price came down, and I think I entered right here at this candle, right as it broke back under the 50 EMA. Now, this isn't a safe entry, and this isn't even an entry that is based on our strategy. This is me just entering because I was upset that I ended up closing and taking a loss. So I was like, okay, since the D1 isn't going to come into fruition, maybe the short is still going to come into fruition, and let me get back short. So that was mistake number two, in which I entered without really having any confirmation. I entered pretty much not based on any rules on my strategy. If you plot back into the 15-minute, luckily you could see that a 3 candle formation did form out here. So you can see that that's a 3 candle formation. You get the crossover, So it played out in my favor. So that was lucky. But the downside is I can't adapt that mindset because more often than not, those kind of entries are very risky and they're not going to play out in your favor. I was just lucky this time around. So fast forwarding, I got back into the trade and the trade ended up actually running to 2R. So as you can see, this is 2R right here. My stop loss was 15 and ran about 30 pips here. Now, my third mistake came from me not looking to see if there was any news around the euro, especially high impact news. So what had happened here is when price got down to this 2R level, I actually ended up moving my stop into break even. I didn't take any profits off because I had already lost a little bit. I wanted to make more off of like this full move, which I was targeting the 200 EMA. So when it got to 2R, the only thing I did was I moved my stop to break even. And I moved my stop to break even around 7:15, and it was still looking good, not knowing that there was any high impact euro news coming around. Now, when 7:45 rolled around, that's when the news kicked in, and as you can see, this big bullish bar pretty much knocked me out here at break even. High impact euro news stops me out at break even. Now, this was mistake number 3 that I could have easily avoided. I could have easily been prepared for this. If I had known that there was high impact news around euro, I could have just taken my profits here at 2R, full profit, full size, and called it a day right there. But instead, since I wasn't proactive and I didn't look for news or I didn't research news or whatever it is, I ended up getting stopped out here pretty much at break even. So pretty much no profit on this trade. I had already taken a loss earlier and I had entered not really based off of any rules around my system. So those were 3 mistakes that I did on Euro Yen. Overall, very rough. It was a loss. I think it resulted in about 0.8% loss in total. Not a giant loss, but still a loss that I want to acknowledge and I want to be held accountable to. And this is why I'm making this video, to show you guys exactly what I did wrong, so that moving forward, hopefully you guys can learn something from it. I know I learned something from it, that coming into the next week, this is something that I'm definitely not going to be ignoring. But anyways, yeah, these are the mistakes that I made on Euro Yen, and I hope you guys learned something from it, and I hope you guys definitely don't make these same exact mistakes. All right, so let's do a little recap of my trading mistakes this week, and let's take a look at what solutions I'll be looking to implement in the future. My first mistake was not trusting my analysis, cutting my trade short, and not trusting my stop loss. At the point where I entered the trade, I had already committed to it. I analyzed, I assessed my risk, and I executed. At this point, I should have been fully committed to trade, and I should have accepted the fact that this trade would result in one of 3 outcomes. Either the trade was going to hit profit, stop loss, or break even. Moving forward, I really have to adapt this mindset and implement it. I have to remember that my stop loss and targets aren't just placed randomly. Their placements are calculated. So moving forward, I'll really be strict on myself with letting my trades run and play out. My second mistake was not checking for high impact news that day. Now, this was a very stupid mistake that could have easily been avoided. As you saw when I went over the charts, price ended up moving about 2R for my entry before stopping me out at break even because high impact euro news came out. Now, I'm not entirely sure why I didn't check for news. I could really only chalk up to the fact that I was slacking that day. So my solution moving forward is going to be setting an alarm on my phone with the title, "Check for high impact news." That way, when I wake up in the morning, that's going to be the first thing I see, and hopefully it'll drill it into my head. Well, there you have it, guys. Those were 2 mistakes that I made this week that ended up costing me money. Now, it's important to note that we're all humans and that we do all make mistakes. They're pretty much unavoidable. The key is to acknowledge those mistakes, learn from them, and implement a solution so the likelihood of you repeating those mistakes are minimized. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you guys learned from my mistakes. If you guys found value in this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Also, were there any mistakes that you ended up making this week? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, hit that little bell icon so you get notified whenever I drop a new video. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you guys in the next one.